This
See.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I think we have almost everyone on the call. So I think this is our confirmed list of participants. We had a lot of new joinees and people attending demos. So it's good to go around the table and have each one's introduction, your background with SAP and what you're looking from this course. Yeah. So I hope most of you know me, but I've introduced myself during the introduction, but I'll reintroduce. I'm uh, Rohan. I'll be your EWM trainer. I have around 15 years of SAP experience. Last 10 years, I've been working into EWM, done almost 5 to 6 implementations, a couple of them in S4HANA, and I've been actively taking EWM trainings, and I've almost completed 30 plus batches. And I'm certified in MM, WM, EWM, TM, and I work for Equisoft for the training and project related activities for EWM. Okay, so yeah, can you all give a brief introduction about yourself, please?
Yeah, I can start. My name is Gautam, and I'm also working in the IT. I've been in IT for more than 15 years, and I'm a SDMM consultant. I also worked in decentralized WM partly, and from this course, I would like to understand the EWM, the end-to-end integration, and also I would like to go for the certification for EWM.
Okay, that's good.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gautam.
I'd like to go next.
Yes,
Okay, my name is Adio Jamiu.
Adio. Okay.
Adio Jamiu, yeah, from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
I
All
have
right.
yeah, about 11 years experience in PPMM,
Mm-hmm.
particularly ECC, not S4HANA. So I'd
Okay.
like to also go in depth into EWM and also
Mm-hmm.
go for the certification.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So we have good vast experience in PP as well in our batch. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who want to go next?
I like to go for next.
Okay. Okay.
I'm Dinesh. I'm working in Poland in LG company. I'm working as a logistics specialist
Mm-hmm.
for outbounding. But I also like to learn a warehouse management system and also go for a certificate.
Certification as well. Okay. Do you
Hmm?
use EWM in your company, Dinesh?
No, it's not my part of work. I'm just outbounding specialist.
Okay, you're outbound specialist. Okay.
But I know similar works how it's working, so I like to learn a deep version.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I would like to go next. This is Vatsal. I have around 15 years of experience in SAP, mostly into
Mm-hmm.
W and partly into EWM. So I would like to get more details for SAP certification, and currently I'm leading many SAP implementations also.
Oh, that's nice. Good to know. Thanks. Thanks, Vatsal.
Thank you.
Anubhav, would you like to go next?
Yeah, hi everyone. Hi everyone. I am just like pass out from the college only.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically had no experience, but I have interest in learning SAP and would like to go for certifications as well. So yeah, I have also learned a few modules like SD, just basics, but yeah, would love to go for EWM and MM also after that.
Okay. Okay, Anubhav,
Yeah.
that's fine. Good. Thank you. Plabon?
Hi Rohan.
Hi,
So my
hi.
name is Plabon there. I have been working into SAP for 8 plus years. I have
Mm-hmm.
4 plus years of experience into SAP WM and almost the entire 8 plus years into SAP MM. So
MM
currently
and
I'm working for Caterpillar
mm-hmm.
as a IMWM consultant. So
Mm-hmm.
from this course, I wish to learn and extend my knowledge about EWM. A
Mm-hmm.
primary goal is for certification. Second is the preparedness, since
Mm-hmm.
my organization also like the coming years they will be migrating from WM to EWM.
Okay. Okay. Your organization also planning to put you into EWM projects. Okay, good. That's great. Think Shishan.
Hi Rohan, I have 7 years of SAP web experience, but
Mm-hmm.
since 2 years I got opportunity to work as SAP EWM technical, and I found that module very interesting. Earlier I was working in
Okay.
SD, and I have done implementations for H&M, HPE, and
Mm-hmm.
around 6 7 implementations I have done. So major one is H&M only. Now I am working with some client. I cannot disclose the name. It's a multinational Swedish client. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so now I want to move into EWM, and probably I want to gather as much as knowledge as possible in EWM, and certification. I don't know. It can follow as well, but I'm not sure about it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
But
trying to
yeah,
move into
this
this
is
techno-functional kind of a.
no. I will
Oh,
be in functional role only. I think I know what to do in my life now. EWM is the thing.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
clear, then
Only
it's fine.
functional, no technical.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, Arjun.
Hi, Ron. Hello.
Hey, Arjun. I think you
Ron,
joined a bit late. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yeah. I'm working as a solution architect, and I've been played a role in SD, WM, and MM.
Mm-hmm.
So all the three models I've worked almost like 10 to 12 years I'm into the SAP. But I'm kind of drawn to, being a solution architect, just to want to be in a just lower than that position. So that's to make sure to have a balance of work life and,
Mm-hmm.
professional life. So I just want to learn EW and want to just making that's my aim as of right now. But
Okay.
EWM, as I found very interesting and very good future where I can able to see as myself. So that's the reason my aim is to learn an EWM and just to concentrate only on EWM and try to get in more implementation project on EWM instead of SD or MM or WM, which I already done that, and I think the future is EWM is the most high level where I see compared to other models. So that's
Okay.
my
Okay.
thinking as of right now.
So, so you would like to work as a functional consultant, since you are already as a solution architect, you would like to, you know, you find interest in the functional consultant role as CWM,
Yeah,
or
function
you want to
consultant
continue with EWM
as
solution
to
architect?
continue both. Yeah, that's my aim. Depending
Okay.
on how well I get grab the EWM, based on the knowledge I like to go for that particular role. It could be as an analyst or a senior. I believe either of these two I prefer to go instead of
Okay.
the as a solution architect.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, with your vast experience, definitely you'll be able to pick it up. No worries. Okay. So thank you, Arjun. So all right,
Thank you.
I think we have introduced everyone. Thank you so much. I think we have a good batch here, right from somebody who's fresh from college to different modules in SAP, even technical and and very senior roles in SAP. You all are doing, leading, managing, solution architects. That's great. So okay, guys, let's get back to our batch. So since it was initial week, we had to be a bit slow because people were enrolling and there were a lot of people into the go-to meeting, and there were a lot of questions here and there. Let's follow a direction approach now, a proper let us go in a proper direction now. So so let me do a quick recap of where we were. So we started with org structure. We set up our org structure. um, uh, just stop me if any one of you have not attended previous sessions and you want to have a quick overview about what we set up in org structure. Then ERP integration settings. So when we set up EWM, there are certain settings on the ERP side we need, like delivery splitting, some setting on the logistics, execution side, which are mandatory for EWM. So we have set up those settings. Then we slightly diverted for one of the session to the storage type. Why I say diverted, because there was another topic after this, the EWM integration settings. Since the audience was kind of first time, most of the audience were first time attending that day, so I kind of moved to the warehouse structure part, which will be easy for somebody who's joining new. But I'll be touching upon storage type. We created storage types, sections, and I will talk about few fields about storage type. And then today, later after that, after spending 15 minutes, we'll move to EWM integration settings. Okay, so we did the ERP. Now we will do the EWM integration settings. There are many new terms I'm going to introduce today, which are not used in ERP side. Or when I say ERP, I mean MMP, PSD, and all the other modules of all modules we had in ECC. Okay, so I'm going to introduce some new terms in EWM, and we'll also discuss about the technical settings that we need to do. Some settings are done by basis team, some settings are done by us. So how do we go about those settings in a project? We'll discuss them. Okay, so this will be our main agenda for today, but we'll quickly cover the storage type discussion that we left in our previous session.
Rohan, small question. Before you start the EWM integration, can you ask us to slightly recap the ERP integration? Very high overview before you.
Yeah. We'll quickly go through the ERP integration. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Okay, so we created storage type, and I did mention, there are certain fields, important fields of storage type, which we should be aware of at the time of creation. At least, when we go for a project, immediately we'll not get answers to, all the fields, what should be maintained. And slowly, as the design evolves and as we, go about with the discussion, testing, and setting up the system, we will do a lot of configuration in the storage type area. So storage type basically is the most important configuration, and it till our end of our batch we will be again and again coming back here, because all these topics, all the concepts, storage type, and there is another thing called process type, which is similar to movement type. Those two configurations are very important, so people from WM can um, can correlate this better, because they have seen in WM. And also the process type is similar to WM movement type that we had in WM. Okay, so these configurations will come. Don't worry if there are too many fields here, and we are not going in each one of them. We'll slowly come to them, as we go ahead. What is storage control? What is WT generic? And all those things will come again and again to the storage type configuration. Okay, so one field we discussed was storage type control. The other one we discussed was HU requirement. So HU requirement we were discussing, like when we create a storage type, if it's a rack, it is always going to be handling unit managed. You need to speak to the SMEs, try and understand how they would like to manage the stock, whether it should be in a handling unit form or a non-handling unit form, or both. So I was giving you an example. The racks, they always keep the stock in a palletized form. Okay, and if um, it's a fixed bin storage, where it's like a marketplace, fixed bin, your DMart shelves or your Big Bazaar shelves, or Target, Walmart, those the grocery shopping, outlets. Those are like a fixed bin storage. There we don't keep the pallet details. It's like you take a box, open it, keep it here. You pick them, it becomes empty, you bring a next box. So here we don't need to track handling units, okay, because the pallet is broken here. Okay, here places like racks it is mandatory, places like fixed bin storage it is optional, places like deconsolidation packing, sorry, I said it's mandatory here, it is uh, not required here, handling units. And places like packing, deconsolidation, quality, it's optional, because you take a pallet, you repack it, so you will have pallets as well as you will have loose pieces, right? So if you have a pallet which has 100 pieces of pump, and you are repacking into two pallet of 50-50 each, you're basically at some point when you pack the product, maybe the product may be in a loose form for some time, right? Sometimes your packaging material is not there, you don't have enough boxes or cartons, you may unpack it and just wait for the part, cartons, or you may do it in the later in the day or the next day. So these area work centers, what we do is for those work center storage type, we keep the handling unit requirement as optional. Okay, so you can see in standard also SAPs follow the same principle. For packing, it's there. Let me see. So it's for packing in the standard, it's there. I will remove it because I'll remove it because when we do packing, it should not be in handling unit form. Okay, we should also allow a loose piece to be there in our work center. I thought SAP standard also has that. The previous version had it, but I'm not sure why it's mandatory in the new version. So the three work centers, okay, the packing area, the deconsolidation area, and the quality area. We'll say, allow us to keep, loose pieces. We cannot ensure always, pallets will be there. Okay, so I'm keeping it as optional. Okay, and the rack ones, I'm going to keep that as mandatory. Yeah, high rack, it's mandatory, and regular rack, it's mandatory. And let's say fixed bin, we are going to say that handling unit requirement is not allowed. Okay, so in the fixed bin storage, we are not allowing the pallet to be tracked, HU number to be tracked. So what will happen? We get a pallet, let's say handling unit in inbound 1001. We get this handling into rack storage. Initially, we'll store it into rack storage, and then when the bin quantity goes down, we replenish it. We bring the pallet from rack into this marketplace or shopping area. This handling unit number will be deleted. Okay, just let's say 100 pieces of whatever material which is part of that handling unit will be seen in the bin. We will not be able to see the HU number here. Okay, in racks it is mandatory. You have to see the HU number. Okay, you cannot store loose pieces. Okay, so this is one important config. If you don't have enough information at the start, just follow this principle. Work centers and staging areas also keep it as optional. In your rack, keep it as mandatory. Fixed bin, keep it as um, not allowed. Okay, so this is one setting which again as I said, don't worry if you have set it as mandatory optional, and while you're testing or discussing, you come up saying that there's a requirement, business SME says, hey, no, I think I would like to change it. You can change it, till uh, so just storage type, you can change any field at any point of time. Okay, just you need to make sure that the storage type is empty. Okay, so let me give you an example. I think people from WM might already know this. This is how we do it in WM as well. So for example, you have a storage type A8003 where HU requirement is mandatory, let's say, yeah. and then you have started testing. Okay, you're in your unit testing phase, and there are a lot of products in this bin. Okay, 10 pieces, 15 pieces, 20 pieces. Yeah, so there is some stock in 803. These are different bins. Yeah. Bin A. Yeah. So now we have stock handling it is mandatory. So we have handling it here. This material is stored in HU001, it's stored in HU1002. This material is stored in HU1003. Okay. Now user comes and tells you, hey, now I think we did a lot of testing and we understand now with the detailed workshop, and we did our own testing as well and our own internal discussion. We don't want handling it to be mandatory here. Okay, so this applies to all storage type config. Okay, so if you are changing any config in production or while testing or changing any config for storage type, okay, so your approach should be fine. We'll change that indicator. So in development system, you need to first, step one, you need to first empty the storage type. Okay, then step two, change config. Step three, move the stock back to the storage type. Storage type or storage bins, whatever. Yeah. So basically in dev system or in and you know development system is where you this was Anubhav who's new. It's where you configure all your settings. Okay, and then it goes live into production and business use your configuration in production system. Okay, so in the dev system we first empty the storage type, we do the config, and then we move the stock back. Okay, so now when we go to production, before moving a transport request, okay, before moving this transport request, we need to make sure storage type is empty. Now, can anyone tell me why I'm doing this? Why I'm ensuring this storage type is always empty whenever the changes are applied to a storage type? Why I can't keep stock there, why when I'm changing the storage type fields, why it is recommended to make it empty?
Because handling unit is linked to warehouse, and warehouse is linked to storage type. So we already have the creation of the handling unit in that particular warehouse with the storage type.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it will not allow, if you don't move it after once the TR is more injured, it will not allow you to move it because handling unit is activated for that particular pallet, or it's been there in that particular warehouse in that storage
Hmm.
type.
Yeah, that's correct. So so I'll try to elaborate it in more detail. For example, if the handling it is mandatory, I change it to optional. So say I'm not required, but I already have handling in it. So this stock may become inconsistent. Okay, so that's why whenever you change storage type is very important config. So whenever you change, when you move the TR, make sure your storage type is empty. The config moves into the production, then you move your stock back. And when you move back the stock, handling unit number this time will not get stored in that bin because we said handling unit is not allowed. Okay, so temporarily move it to some other storage type, let's say 80056 6 or some packing area. Move it. It is not a physical move, it's a technical move in system. Okay, physically the stock will remain there, in the racks. You're just telling the system, hey, I move the stock elsewhere. Okay, so there is um, when we do the configuration, generally the configuration moves, end of day or end of week as per the change cycle. We can do this as part of cutover. Okay, so keep in mind, any field you're changing for storage type, even some of the fields, SAP will not allow you to change if there is stock over there. So in the development system, or in your sandbox, if you try, you change this indicator, it will tell you, hey, you'll get an error message, stock exists in the storage type, you can't change. Okay, there are several places you have that error also configured by SAP. So are we clear so far? Any questions? Okay, no questions. Then we'll go ahead. So then you have to decide on two more important fields. One is the mixed storage, and the other one is addition to stock. Okay, so what is mixed storage? So mixed storage is, in your storage type, do you allow mixing? What is mixing? So basically, if we have a storage type, okay, we'll take the same storage type. So for example, I have this data here. So in this storage type 8003, in the same bin, I'm storing two parts. Bin A, if you observe, I'm storing product MO1 as well as MO2. So I'm basically, there is mix of product here. Okay. Sometimes you may have, let's say bin A will have same product, but different batches. Okay. So basically, do you want to allow this? So do you want to allow mixing of product? Do you want to allow mixing of batches? Okay. So this indicator controls whether it's allowed or not. So for example, here we say mixed storage without limitation. So generally, for the packing areas, okay, for the work centers or staging areas, right, where we are going to do the packing and all, we don't want to do any restrictions, right? We don't want to have any restrictions. It's basically a restriction, right? You are restricting that store only one product. In the packing area, quality area, staging areas, we don't need to put those restrictions. But in some areas like fixed bin storage, okay, if you remember the fixed bin storage, what we discussed, it's basically your shelves where you're managing one product only. So fixed bin is, you have the you have the you basically, you have a rack, and each rack, it's like your marketplace, right? So you go, just imagine again, we go to Walmart, or we go to Tesco, or we go to Big Bazaar or DMart in India. You have a dedicated bin for each item. Let's say rice bags, right? So you have a dedicated bin for each product. Okay, so next time when you come, you know exactly where to go for rice bags, right? So and in your bin of rice bag, you would not store something else. You will not store, fruits and vegetables over there. That bin is dedicated only for rice bag. So in fixed bin storage, we don't mix products, okay? But we may mix batches, right? So I have one bag left of batch one, and I from the warehouse I bought another bag of which has a batch three. So in the same bin, I have one batch of my previous lot and one batch of the new lot. So mixing of batch you would like to allow here, right? So some places, uh, we may allow mixing of batches and not allow, like for fixed bin storage, we'll not allow mixing of products, but we'll allow mixing of batches. And some places, it will be slightly different. So let's say for fixed bin storage, the indicator is 2. Okay. So 2 says allow several pallets with different batches for the same product. That means allow storing different batches. Okay. Here it is saying allow several non-mixed HUs with the same product and batch. That means only allow same product and batch to be stored. So if you set it up as 1, it will not allow you to store batch 3. It will say, hey, you're not allowed to mix the batches. You have batch 1 there in the bin. You should only store batch 1. Okay. So, and in some cases, let's say rack storage, number 3 is very common. I briefly told you, like whenever these rack storages are, set up in the warehouse, they always have, one pallet per bin. You'll see most of the, I would say even 90 up to 95% of the racks, they are set up in such a way that it stores, one pallet per bin. Okay, so if you see here, you can see there are, don't get confused, that this whole thing is one pallet. Okay, let me take a clear picture. So this one. Okay, so you can see here there are two pallets here. So there is no partition between these two, but there'll be separate labels for these two. Even though there is no, don't get confused with the partition or the pillars. This entire thing, entire block, it will be made as two bins. There'll be a barcode for this side and there'll be barcode for this side. Okay, even though there is not a pillar partition, there might be some other partition or no partition. But in technically in system, we would store, we would store one pallet per bin. Okay, that is very common in warehouses. Okay, it it makes it very easy to handle stock. So here you can see, the barcode labels are there. Okay, so for the rack bins, we'll see that it is set up as 3. Okay, only one HU per bin. Now, if you have another HU, it will not store. If you have the HU can have any product, any batch, doesn't matter. Just one pallet per bin. Okay, so these are,
Rohan,
Mhm.
Rohan, you were showing that picture of the warehouse. I have a very silly question over there.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you
go ahead,
can you
no
can
problem.
you go can you go to the picture?
Hmm.
So this rack where one pallet is set. This is the storage location, right?
Storage
Or
bin.
is it a storage bin? And what is the
Mhm.
storage location? Is it a city or is it a
Oh.
place where warehouse is built?
See, basically, see, within plant we have store location. Okay, so
Okay,
if you are using, I would say, like, if you're not using WM or EWM, you store
okay.
stock at storage location level, which will be your big complex. Your entire warehouse or entire building, wherever you're storing, becomes a storage location.
Inside the whole industry, right? Inside the whole
Whole whole
whole campus
whole complex is
complex.
your
Okay,
storage location. You just know that parts are stored there. You don't know which bin, anything.
okay.
Now,
So warehouse is bigger or storage location is bigger? I mean, like we have
I'm
different
coming to that.
cities.
Just give me
Okay,
give me 1 minute. So when
okay.
you use warehouse, you don't use storage location at all. Basically, physically, it becomes a virtual thing, because now you're going to
Yeah.
say the stock is stored into the warehouse. So that complex, it's a warehouse now. Okay,
Okay.
and within the warehouse you have different rooms. Now since you're using warehouse, you have different rooms, different sections within the warehouse. They become the storage type, and within storage type you have such racks and you have
Yeah.
bins in the racks.
Bin. Bins. Okay.
Okay, so when you say store location, you will not see anywhere store location, physically. It becomes a virtual thing because because the ERP cost structure is like that. We have plant, we have store locations, and then we cannot change the ERP org structure. So store location is assigned to a warehouse. Okay, so physically there is no store location where you're going to store the stock. Okay.
Yeah. So suppose there is a city, say Stockholm, and I have that Gamlestan over there. So in that place there is a warehouse. So I will say storage location is Gamlestan and then warehouse inside that, like that, but virtually.
So no. So for example, let's take this example of this warehouse. Okay, I'll just show you. Let's take example of this plant and warehouse which we are working on.
Okay.
So this plant is in California,
Yeah.
Palo Alto. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the postcode. In this plant, if when you go to that plant address, okay, you will
Yeah.
see when you drive there, you will see like if you see the layout of that plant, it will be, let's say this is your whole plant. Okay, a typical plant, let's say there'll be parking and other things. I'm not reception, other thing, corporate office, main
Yeah.
office. I'm
Yeah.
not taking. Let's say all those things are here. Okay,
Yeah.
even your, and then there will be some area where the manufacturing takes place,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
let's say it's a manufacturing facility, and this is the whole area where there'll be one building or several buildings, several complexes. This is where
Mm-hmm.
you call this is your warehouse.
Yeah.
So the entire thing is your warehouse. The address is same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't. It's not, warehouse is not like a city or something. It has the same address of plant,
Okay. Yeah.
but within the plant, you may, when you physically go there, you will have a area where you store the parts. That is your warehouse.
Okay.
Okay, so ideally this whole thing used to be store location in IM, but now when you use uh, WM, this becomes your warehouse where you're going to store the
Okay.
parts.
Okay. And one warehouse can have multiple storage locations.
Storage type and storage bins. Within warehouse, we
Okay.
have storage type, storage bins, and previously what we used to do is, we used to have before warehouse management, what or in IM, what we do is we would create 4 storage locations here: raw material, semi-finished, finished, okay, and
Now everything
consumables.
comes in warehouse.
All will come under warehouse. So you have a
Got
warehouse.
it.
In warehouse only you will store products and you'll identify which store location they
Got it.
belong to. Okay, but you will not see anywhere physically a store location. Now the stock is managed at warehouse level.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so coming back to the important indicators, I hope we are now clear about the mixed storage thing. Yeah, mixed storage. See, I would say as a principle, don't change this. Keep it same as what you have in your template storage type. Only as and when required, you change it. Okay, but you should be aware mixed storage, whether you want to allow one product in your bin or one
Rohan,
product several batches.
hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rohan, just a small question. Like, if we take mixed storage as three here, so
Hmm.
there will be like multiple products, right? Mixed products in this one
Hmm.
HU.
Correct.
Okay.
See, yeah. So if you just maintain this, there can be multiple products. So now a user, just think about a user. Okay, now you asked me this question. What a user can come up with. Okay. User can come up with a question saying that, okay, I want one HU per bin, but now within the HU, I don't want to mix product. Okay, he can ask, right? It's a valid question.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have just one indicator. So then we have another indicator here to control how we can manage stock within the HU. Okay, so you can see
Okay.
mixed storage in HU. So if the user says allow mixed storage in a HU, you allow it. If you keep it blank, that means any product can be stored. Okay, if you keep it one,
Okay.
only same product, same batch. If you keep it two, same product, several batches are allowed. Okay, so
Mm,
this is the next config. If you want to, if it's three, ideally we would go and maintain this. Okay, so this will be blank in your staging areas, in your work centers, because we always mix there, right? In a packing area, you'll have so many products, so many batches. So you don't want to do anything there. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Okay. So in the storage type, we have, several sections. This is the general section. We have put away for all put away related settings. We have stock removal for all stock removal specific settings. Uh, Goods movement. This is for the stock management availability group and which store location the stock belongs to, and those kind of controls. Replenishment, internal warehouse process, those controls will be maintained here. Okay, so there is another field I would like to discuss at this point of time is addition to stock, forbidden. So what is this addition to stock? Say whether you just visit this for all your storage type, or if you're not sure, keep it as it is as standard. What is addition to stock? So, so for racks, it is clear. Okay, so if I'm working with rack, I have, let's say, 8001, which is a rack storage. Bin A has HU1001. Okay, product M-01, 10 pieces. Okay, this is my bin A. We said for rack, one pallet per bin. So when the next product comes, it will not go into bin A because there is already one pallet. Our control is always one pallet. So when the next product comes, it goes to bin B. Next pallet comes, it goes to bin B. It can be of the same product or different product. Okay, so here it is straightforward. It's nothing like addition we are doing here. The addition of stock doesn't make sense here. There's no addition happening here. But let's say there is a storage type which has bin C. Okay. Now in this storage type, okay, we have since 8005 we don't do handling units there. Let's say there is a product M-01 10 piece. Now in the same bin, if product M-01 comes, there is a receipt of M-01, and do you want to allow the same product to be added into the same bin? Yes or no? That's a question we need to ask business. Why? Why we need to ask this? Because see what happens here. There are two aspects. One, this bin has capacity. Okay, bin C has a capacity to, let's say, to store 100 pieces. Okay, but if only 10 pieces are there, we are not effectively utilizing the space, right? So what we say in these cases, ideally, we should allow addition to stock, because let us fill the bin completely, because every warehouse has space constraint. So here there is one point saying that okay, yeah, we should allow addition to stock. There will be another point depending on the business. They will say, okay, if I already have stock, okay, if I add another stock in this bin, okay, so let's say this stock came on 10th of December Now a new stock is coming on, let's say 8th of January. Okay. Now what is happening in the same bin? You have 20 pieces, okay, but with different GR date. So what is happening here? This stock gets mixed. Okay, in the bin. When I say mixed means when a person goes to pick, how will he know which is the oldest stock? In warehouses, we try to pick the oldest stock. So here either the bin. So now when you add stock, the bins, what happens in standard SAP, the bin gets updated with 20 pieces. And there is just one GR date updated. We'll say the GR date of the oldest stock is there or the latest stock that you can configure. So let's say it keeps a GR date of the latest stock. So when you add stock, the GR date also gets merged. Okay, and in the bin we have 20 pieces. The quantities also get merged. Okay, so now what is the drawback here? The benefit of addition to stock, we are utilizing our capacity, but here during picking we are compromising with the shelf life. For shelf life parts or for with the FIFO, we have to pick the oldest stock. Okay, so shelf life parts, we always pick the oldest parts, right? So that they have the ones which are going to expire soon, we have to pick them first. Okay, so the
One
downside
question.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mohan. But what if we have batch numbers specified for the different GR dates? That way, the shelf life would not be
Much
impacted.
impacted. That's correct. Yeah, you can have batch numbers that will not mix. That will keep it separate. If you have batches, that's fine. It will The two batches will be separate. The GR numbers will be separate. But what if you don't have batches? In that case, your for batches it is easy. Okay, but not all products are batch managed. Let's say some companies, let's pharmaceutical or automobile, they use a lot of batch managed. But even food uses a lot of batch managed. But there are industries that they don't use utilities and the area. They don't use batches to a greater extent. So if there is batches, yes, perfectly fine. You add stock. They are recognized separately because the batch is different. But if there is no batch, see, in case of batches, so just imagine you're going to the bin for picking. So you pick part M-01. The system tells you oldest is batch A. The product will have somewhere a barcode of the batch. You are picking the oldest one. But when there is no batch barcode, both the 10 pieces, you will not be able to differentiate which is a new, which is old, because GR date is not on the packet. Okay, or the picker has to spend a lot of time, if the shelf life date is there, has to spend and compare all the 20 pieces to see whichever is the oldest shelf life and pick that. Okay.
Rohan, one question. Since you're talking about the batches, if it's a batch manage, how system knows that we should pick the oldest batch? We do the sorting of the batch, or like how it works?
So in the batch master, system stores the GR date of the batch or the
Oh,
production date of that lot. So when we pick, when the system does picking, it looks at the batch master and determines, both the batch masters, and it will determine whichever has the oldest GR date or oldest production date or earlier expiry date, whatever settings you have done.
okay, okay. It's like a self-expiry date or a GR date. Okay.
GR date, or see, batches are very, we'll see batch management as well. But you know just imagine batches not only with dates, there are also some characteristics. I want certain component to be in this range for my customer. Yeah, so For example, a car, the customer has ordered a red car, so you have 5 cars. The color is one of the batch characteristic. So batches are picked based on their characteristic, what the customer is asked. So some customer may say, I want batches with 10 days shelf life left. Some may say I want batches with 20 days shelf life left. Okay, so accordingly, system does that check of customer's batch requirement, and it picks that batch. If customer says doesn't mention anything in warehouse, we pick the oldest batch and we give it to them.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so so just bringing these concepts to you again, when you, as you all are preparing for almost all of you are preparing for certification, I'll upload certification books in the folder for you. And these concepts are discussed in a way, in whichever area the storage type definition is uh, discussed, so you can go through them in more detail. So generally, when we define storage type, we these are the 4 important configs which we discuss. One is storage type role, HU requirement, mixed storage, okay, and the other one is the addition to stock. So now here, for rack storage, I would say addition to stock is not allowed. Okay, for the fixed bin storage, I would say addition to stock is allowed. Okay, and you can change if you have a different requirement based on the customer. So, or you can say it should be based on products. Certain products you want to allow, certain products you don't want to allow. This indicator can also be based on product. So addition to stock permitted, I would say it's a rack storage. I don't want to add it. Doesn't make sense. It could be always one rack. But yes, I will put it. Okay. In fixed bin storage, I would say allow anything, because fixed bin storage, I want to use my capacity. Okay, so I'll allow it. Okay. So if you're not sure, just allow it to start with. Okay, for your storage types. So generally, I'll just share my experience in projects. We don't. I don't go and visit each storage type and observe these 4 or 5 fields. I just copy the standard, and only when business, I tell my business that these are the things, but you test it. Okay, and I'll make them aware. I'll say you test this thing, or I'll show them in my test results, or I'll show them this is how it is working. Are you okay, or do you want to stop it, change it? Then only I will change. Okay, most of the time what happens is in the project, that the business side may not be, it may be their initial days with SAP, so they may not understand all these things. So these kind of settings, sometimes come at a later stage during UAT, or during hypercare. So don't worry, it's same everywhere. Almost all projects have this problem. So don't hesitate. If it comes later, you have done your job well. Only as part of the project, some requirements come at a later stage. So stick to standard wherever you don't get an answer, or you know if business is not sure, stick to standard. Just keep it simple. Okay. Okay, so we spoke about storage type, we spoke about storage section, section we created in our previous session. So we'll take a pause here with our structure, warehouse structure settings, and we'll move back to the integration settings now. So any questions on storage type, storage section before we park it? The next storage next structure is the structure element is the storage bin. We'll do some integration settings and we'll come back. So any questions so far?
Yes, Rohan, Lavanya.
Mhm. Yeah, tell
So,
me.
in a normal ECC WM, what we have this stock placement and stock removal strategies which we can
Mhm,
set up for the types.
mhm.
So in EWM, it is not required.
It's required. We do have strategies, and it is
Okay.
very similar to what we do in WM. We don't have, that indicators like you have a put away. Those indicators are not there. It's done slightly differently in EWM. You don't see like put away strategy control indicator, like this. You don't see there's something called put away rule, but there is no strategy here. Even in outbound, there is no strategy. It's done in a slightly different way. So all
Okay.
the strategies, palette strategy, bulk strategy, all are there, but they are configured in a different way.
Okay. And also in normal WM, there is an option for user exit for the strategies put away and the picking.
Mhm.
So that is also there in EWM where we can give a custom strategies.
Yeah, you can create your own custom strategies. The EWM is very flexible as compared to WM, so you can very well uh, you know so basically instead of user exit, I will say we have a lot of bodies here in EWM. So you can create your own whatever your custom requirements are. You can write it in your own in the bodies, and you know I would say in WM because I've also worked in WM, there are many things which are not possible, but I haven't come across any enhancement in the strategies or here and there in EWM which I had to struggle or say not possible, because you also have to understand, because the programming has also changed. EWM program is object oriented, which is very flexible, and it allows you to change in a better way, or gives you more options to change.
Okay. So we will be discussing like this is minor of that part as well. Like if you want to set up a custom strategy, how to do
Yeah, we'll be discussing that as well.
that. Okay.
We'll be discussing the possible enhancements, common enhancements that we have. Okay, just splitting my notes, based on units becomes easy for you guys, when you're referring them. So I'll just say, okay, so this is our unit one where we discussed about integration. Okay, and this is unit two where we spoke about the structures.
Ron, can you also share these notes with us just for reference?
Yeah, they are there, in the um, they okay. I've shared a Google Drive, folder with you.
Okay.
So the sheet is there. I'm directly updating that in the Google Sheet itself.
Okay, sorry. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So, all right. So here we are. I'll just quickly tidy it up. This was storage section. So we discuss talking about storage section. This is about the different warehouses connecting to EWM. Okay. All right. Here we go. It's done. Okay. So let's do a quick recap of what we have covered in the on the org structure and the integration part, ERP integration part. Okay. So when we started, we spoke about plant store locations and plant store location assignment to warehouse. Then we discussed, that we are going to have 4 store locations assigned to EWM warehouse. We created the 3 character warehouse on ERP side, 4 character warehouse on EWM side. and all those org structure elements, they are maintained over here in our data sheet file. Okay, so feel free, you can use the same warehouse for your testing, or I recommend you also create your own warehouse and do it with me in parallel. We created the ERP warehouse, we created EWM warehouse, and we also created plant as customer and plant as vendor. Okay, so this was required for STOs, and also it is required for some of the settings which we are going to introduce today. We need plant as a business partner to be created. Then we when we copied the EWM warehouse, we didn't create a warehouse, we copied an existing warehouse. That's how we create org structure. So this is the configuration we did for creating our warehouse. Okay, then we did settings on the ERP side. Okay. Yeah, so we mapped the warehouse, ERP warehouse to EWM warehouse, the 3-character and 4-character warehouse. We assigned them to each other. In the warehouse ERP warehouse config, there is a config where we say that this warehouse, this 3-digit code is a the 3-digit code is a EWM warehouse, and there are all EWM specific settings here. So these parameters of EWM we maintain, very important config. Then we maintain the shipping point. Shipping point is plays a very important role with deliveries, and so we have shipping point, good receiving point. Okay, and we will basically for deliveries, it's the important structure element, org structure element. So these shipping points, the information is passed to EWM, and we store the shipping point details in EWM, or we need that for our shipment planning. So we have this goods. So our deliveries um, should the shipping point that we have created should be determined for a delivery. So we have created our own shipping point. So we have done the config so that the same shipping point is determined during inbound deliveries and outbound deliveries. So shipping point determination was the config we did. We spoke about possible config on the MM side, which may be required if in case your material master does not have execution and packaging view. Okay, so in material master you should have these views activated. If they're not there, you need to get it activated with your MM team. The execution packaging view. Okay, so those who are new, those who have already worked in WM, these views are no more used for EWM. Okay, EWM has its 2 views, execution and packaging. Okay, so we spoke about that. Then we spoke about activating delivery split for a warehouse. The delivery split is activated at warehouse level, and it is also activated at a delivery tab level. So we have activated that. We have also set up the number ranges for our warehouse in the EWM side. Okay, now we will come to the EWM configuration. Okay, did we do this as well? I think yes. Okay, let me quickly check. I don't remember it. So this is where in the EWM we map the 3-character warehouse to 4-character warehouse. The previous configuration we mapped it on the ERP side, and here now we are mapping on the EWM side. So let me go to the part here. So is our warehouse here? W, come on, W5 is here. Yeah, I think we did this. So we have mapped the warehouse here, and then we have also made an entry of the availability group. Okay, I think we stopped here. I think we didn't discuss supply chain unit. Availability group, let me check if we have assigned availability group to a store location. Sorry, it's not here. Store location. So we have, for a testing purpose, what we have done, we have assigned each store location to availability group. This is basically, to differentiate stock in EWM based on store location. So we said for a warehouse, some areas are 2000 store locations, some are 1000. So how we achieve that? We achieve that using availability group. So we did not go much into availability group. There's a separate session for that. We'll create our own availability group and we'll do this config again. But just to, make sure our integration is working, I've just assigned the existing availability group. Otherwise, we'll not be able to test our integration. Okay. So these configurations we did in our previous session. Now, okay. So now one by one, I'll go through the other remaining configuration. Okay. So are you all with me so far?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, see these were all functional things that we have covered so far. ERP setting, EWM settings. Now, when you go for a project, you are given a client, okay, or a sandbox or a development system. Okay. Now, when you're given that system, these are the functional settings that you do. But as part of the system setup, as part of the um, you know I would say it, let's say in S4 HANA or a decentralized EWM, whichever system you are given, the basis team gives you that system, right? So what happens is, when the basis team, they are setting up a S4 HANA system or a decentralized EWM system, as part of the system building, they have to do some settings. Okay. So these are technical settings done by basis team. Okay. Uh, we probably with experience you will also understand this, or you may also start doing it, but most of them are one-time settings which the basis team do. Okay. And I'm talking about it, every system that we have, there are basis settings, but these settings are important because even if one of the settings is not done properly or is missing, our integration won't work. Okay. So most of these settings are client level settings. So they have to be done one time. So for example, if you are in a company where already EWM is there and you are creating a new warehouse, you don't have to do that integration setting again because that client settings would have been done by the one who has initially done the first warehouse implementation. Okay. So first time in a landscape, if you're introducing EWM, this basis settings play a very important role, and you need to have a good basis consultant to do that. So as functionals, what is our role? See, we need to make sure integration works. You will do this configuration start testing, but your deliveries will not come to EWM, or a GR from EWM will not go to ERP. So you'll start getting this error where it kind of start surfacing out. Okay. But it will be too late, and um, it's like troubleshooting and finding out different ways. I would recommend get in touch with your basis team and get it first time right. Okay. So what SAP has given us is what I do generally is I use this tool based integration cockpit. Okay. So SAP has given this tool to integrate ERP and EWM. So I don't use this tool. Okay, probably I don't have much confidence that it is going to update the right things, but I use it to make sure these are this, everything is covered. Okay, so this is my system connection. These are the basis activities. These are our activities. Okay, so we'll come back to the functional activities. These are our functional activities. We have almost done a couple of them, like availability group. We have done the store location mapping. We have done the number ranges. Okay, so I think there's some number range for handling unit, which we'll see later. They have given us some BC sets. Don't implement the BC sets. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll come to this set of settings. Okay, so SAP has given us this tool-based integration for somebody who is doing implementation. First time you're building a client, you use this tool. Basis do the settings, functional do the settings. But yeah, for functional, we need to consider a few things. We'll come to that. But basis, very important. So let's say we are giving a brand new system. We told basis guys, hey, um, they have given a system. I'll say, okay, while you have given me the system, hope you have done all the settings. They'll say, yes, we have done all the settings. So there is generally a book or a document which is there called as admin guide. Okay, so for example, now you guys will go into projects. You will, I'm not sharing any specific document here, but whenever you go into, why I'm not sharing, because this may change. Okay, whenever you go into a project, find this book, admin guide for S4 HANA, let's say 1909. This is 1909 system. You find this thing. Okay, you'll find it freely, on the net. Admin guide for S4 HANA 1909. Yeah, so this is installation guide. We have an admin guide as well? Yeah, somewhere. This is the one. This is not the one. There is another admin guide. Hmm. Installation guide is there, admin guide is there, and there. Okay, leave it to me. I'll share the link with you. Okay, so maybe we may need a S user ID for that. So I'll share the link with you. We will find um, every version admin guide by SAP. So depending on your version, take admin guide of 1909 for example. Okay, section admin. So basically, when they install the system, there is an admin guide, where they are supposed to follow, all the steps, okay, for setting up a client. Okay, so there, all the details are mentioned there, how to create a logical system, how to create a logical system to client, what is, how to set up a queue, out scheduler, queue and scheduler. So basically what I do is I get that admin guide, I'll follow that admin guide, and I'll go to these nodes and I'll see, okay, they have created the logical system or not correctly. Okay, I'll go to this, and then we'll see, whether they have assigned the system to the client or not correctly, whether business system group is created or not, business system is created or not. I'll go and verify everything was as per the guide, they have done it correctly or not. Okay, so so this is one thing which I do. So basically here, we need to understand two things. One is what is business system group, what is business system. I'll come to that. I'll just briefly tell you what these things, what are these, what they do, or where we have an impact with these things. Okay, so admin guide will have detailed steps how to do this. What should be the naming convention for the logical system, what should be the naming convention for the RSC destination, what should be the naming convention for business system group. It will have everything. Okay, so they just in SAP has given everything, we don't have to worry about it. Okay, so since based on my experience, see, I've done this for many of the customers, and most of the time, I try to give it to basis so that anything get breaks doesn't come to me. But based on my experience, with troubleshooting or setting these things up, I'll tell you what are the purpose of each one of them. Okay, and we'll go to the each one of them. Okay, so um, okay, so now these settings in decentralized there'll be lot more. Okay, there'll be few more addition to this. We can go through the admin guide. Okay, whatever is mentioned by SAP for that decentralized version. Okay, so what are these settings? I'll just quickly tell you about them. So what we have here is, we have something called as logical system. See, one thing you should keep in mind, even though EWM is in S4HANA, same instance, still we are doing this integration setting. See, many students, even customers come and ask me, hey Rohan, what is this? Why again why it's in the same instance? Why can't we like uh, just do a mapping between ERP warehouse, EWM warehouse, and it's done? Why we need to do these integration settings? It is understood, when there are decentralized warehouse, different system, it is understood. But why we are doing it in the same instance as for HANA? You know, the answer is, SAP has, it's still, I would say, early days for SAP to make EWM as embedded. Okay, just I think 5 6 years 5 years back they have bought it, and since then they are doing a lot of simplification. Okay, still the integration is not seamless. So I think after two or three next few releases, you will see that you don't have to do anything. Okay, just assign the warehouse and it will be like WM. In WM we just assign the warehouse and everything. We don't need to do integration settings. So basically these integration settings are required because there is QRFC. So ERP and EWM still they talk to each other with QRFCs. So ERP delivery is going to EWM, but it's not going to a separate system. It is going to the same system. Okay, so it's very it's still early days of EWM coming into the ERP landscape, ERP system, and still we have QRFCs. Okay, QRFCs will be there. You know, I mean that's how EWM has been overall set up. But you don't have to do any integration settings. It should come by default from SAP. Okay, so maybe in future you select what deployment you're going to use. You select and execute a program, and it will do everything. Something like that we are expecting, from SAP. But till then, we have to do a lot of these things manually as part of admin guide or basis settings or functional settings. Okay, so so s- so even though EWM is in the same instance, at several places when we are testing and when we are setting up scenario, you will see they still behave like different systems. ERP sends delivery, it goes to the same system, creates a delivery in EWM. EWM does GR, the queue gets created, the queue is posted to the same system. Okay, so just understand, the journey or the movement of SAP from a decentralized, primarily EWM was created as a decentralized slowly with a lot of future, improvements. They're trying to merge it, like it has merged other modules. Okay, that will happen slowly. So now these settings, generally we would do when we are integrating a SAP ERP system to a external SAP system. Okay, so there are two SAP, these settings, most of the settings are used if you have two systems and you're connecting them through RFCs. Okay, so I would, for example, I have a ECC system and a EWM system. This is my decentralized system SCM, and this is my ECC system. These settings are generally done, in SAP, not only in ECC EWM, but anywhere, SAP communicates with another SAP system, we do these settings. Okay, so what we do is we create logical system for ERP, and we create a logical system for EWM. Okay, So logical system for ERP is, so for example, I'm in ERP system. So the logical system for ERP is assigned to the client. If you see the client setting, CC4, CC4 is the client, yeah? Yeah, this is a client, and you can see this is the logical system that is assigned. Okay, so org structure I have mentioned here, what is a logical system, RFC destination, whatever I'm going to discuss in this system, they are already set up because we set the system 5-6 years back. So we have done all the settings. Yeah. So this is the logical system of ERP. You can go and validate. My request to you is please don't change any of these integration settings because it will have impact, on the people or the students who are practicing. Just review them. All these basic settings, just review them. Okay. So logical system created, logical system of ERP is assigned to client. Okay. And logical system of EWM is assigned to RFC destination. Okay. So basically, when we are creating delivery, it is sent for EWM. It will look for the logical system and the RFC destination, and it will send it RFC destination. So it will send the delivery to this destination. Okay. So um so uh, it may be technical for some of you, who are first time, going through this, but don't worry. Even if you go through it 2-3 times, but even if you are not getting much details about it, with some experience you'll understand more about the settings. This is not our responsibility. Okay, logical system, it's not, it no, it will not even be asked in your certification. You'll not be, if most of the time, I see EWM consultant, they don't even worry. Error comes, they say tentative basis guy will dig out the things and he will solve it and he'll come back. So most of the consultants don't even understand these things, but I'm just telling you, you know so that you understand the integration between basis and EWM. Okay, and basically it will help you to troubleshoot better whenever there is any integration error. Okay, so don't worry, it's not your responsibility. Even if it looks a bit more technical to you, don't worry, it's not part of your syllabus, it's purely basic stuff. Okay, I'm trying to um, help you so that you can connect the dots. If most of you have a vast experience, so you can quickly correlate this to some of the work you have already done in past. Yeah. So we know what is RFC destination. So RFC destination is, we have this connections. Using RFC destination, we connect to another system. Okay. So if I want to connect to a EWM decentralized system, so this is where the IP is maintained. This is the logon using which we connect to another external system. Okay, and we do a connection test. We can do a remote login from this system to that SCM system. Yeah. So basically, this RSC destination, ABAP team creates that, and or basis team, and using this RSC destination, they connect to another system, another SAP system. So now this is the same system, DV2 EWM 400. This is a dummy RSC destination to ping to the same system. Okay. So what we do is we do something like BD97. So what we say, this is EWM, this is EWM logical system. Okay, and this is the RSA destination. So when data is sent to EWM logical system, send it to this RSA destination. Okay, so logical system of ERP is assigned to the client. Logical system of EWM is assigned to RSA destination. Okay, the name are there in org structure sheet. What is logical system of ERP? What is the RST destination we are using? And you can just go and see the assignment. Okay, you can all these menu parts are listed here. If in case you would, all the menu parts are listed in this document that I have shared. Okay, and also you can follow this wizard as well. So logical system, assign logical system to the client, RSC destination, assign RSC destination uh, to the um, to the EWM logical system. Okay, fair enough. This is where logical system and RSC destination settings are done. Okay, now there is something called as queue out scheduler, queue in scheduler, and QRFC for uh, admin setting for queue display. Okay, now what are these? So one is logical system, the next is schedulers. There are three transactions here, okay, which you need to go and see. Again, this already be it's already set up in our system, but we'll quickly see them. SMQR. Okay, these three transactions are SMQS and SMQE. These are the three transactions that we need to go and revisit. Okay, just as functions, what I do is, I just go and make sure the entries exist. That's it. At least, basis team have done something there. They haven't forgotten. Whether they are right or wrong, we can confirm that using the admin guide. Okay. Admin guide exactly gives, what data has to be maintained here in SMQR, SMQE, SMQS. All the parameters is given by admin guide. So let's start with keyword scheduler. So this is our RSC destination. Okay, we click that, it opens RSC destination. For that RSC destination, you can see there is these parameters which are maintained, basis parameters, like this is the connection time in seconds, and within 60 seconds if it doesn't connect, it gives a runtime error. So these parameters are also given by admin guide what needs to be maintained. So I just make sure, okay, my RSC destination is maintained here. Okay, basis team have done their job. Okay, this is for something which is going out. There is something which is coming in to the system. SMQR. So here SMQR. So these are the different queues that are coming. Again, what are the queues relevant to EWM? All are mentioned in the admin guide. The ones which are starting with DLV, DLW, EWM, WM. So basically we have queues, yeah. So when QRFCs, data comes from EWM, they come in the queues. So all the ones which are starting with DLV, DLW, those are the ones which are belonging to EWM. So again, SAP has given all the queue names of EWM and given us this parameters, what should be maintained, like runtime should be 60 seconds, 30 attempts. That means, whenever, so let's say you are trying to post a document, there is a locking in the system. So what it does, it takes a pause of 300 seconds, it retries. So for example, you have done a good receipt and somebody is somebody is in the change mode of the material master. Okay, so obviously we cannot post at that time, even ECC, nobody can be able to post MyGo, we get an error that material is locked. So when EWM has done the posting, the queue is created, it will wait 300 seconds, it will retry. Okay, lock has been removed or not. Oh no, it's not removed. Okay, now second attempt, again wait for 300 seconds. So like that, around 1.5 hours, system in the background will keep on trying to repost. Hey, lock is removed. No. Okay, let's wait for 300 seconds. So this is very important, especially the lock. You know, we have realized the basis forget this thing. You know, the first attempt itself, the queue fails. So which is wrong. So as a user, he'll come and complain, hey, I did GR, it's not reflecting in ERP. You say you were locking the data. He said, okay, I was locking the data. Don't you have any mechanism to, reprocess after 5 minutes or something? Or don't you have a mechanism to give me an error? So EWM doesn't give error because, still it behaves like a different system. Normally in MyGo you get an error, but when you do it in EWM, it doesn't, validate. The queue does the validation. So, so this is very important, especially with locks. These kind of parameters. Again, your basis team is set up correctly. You will not even you will see the queues going in retry mode. You don't even need to visit this. Okay, so we have observed this happens a lot. This is missed. The lock queues, they don't get into retry mode. You will see the queue has status. The queue status here you can see is failed. The ones which are locked and system is trying to repost them, you will see a status as retry, retry. Okay, so this is something which is coming in. Okay, these are the parameter settings. Then there is something called as display program. So for the queues, SAP has given display program. Again, you know what it is for, just to make sure, whenever you have any error, you can go into the detail. If you click that error, it takes you to the detailed log. Now this is very old error, and the log has been deleted. But with looking at this, doesn't give you enough information. So you want to see the detailed log, what happened, like in EWM, all the logs are stored in transaction SLG1, or can be seen in SLG1. So every processing that we do, system creates a log in EWM, and those logs are stored in SLG1. It can be seen in SLG1, stored in database. So these are the logs. So now just imagine if a queue has failed and you want to see the log. It's a big headache to look into SLG1. Yeah, it's to it everything, not even EWM, but other things also, you can see here. So much log it creates. So what SAP has given us here is, you register a program here. Using that program, when you for your error, when you click on the error, it will look for that appropriate log in SLG1 and show you that log. Okay. Okay, so you just click this, it will give you the detailed log from SLG1. So that saves a lot of time, and also I would say, initial days, we used to come a lot into SMQ2. Okay, now SAP has given a better place to monitor them through warehouse monitor. We'll come to that later. But yeah, I mean, the idea here is to understand the integration touch points, and this is one of the important touch point. If you don't see the detailed log, you can reach out to your basis team and tell them, hey, have you done the scheduler setting correctly? I don't see the log here. Okay, so this brings the detailed log from SMQ2, SLG1, the next setting. So these are the scheduler settings. Okay, then the third set talks about the integration. Okay, application integration and master data integration. So what is this? Okay, a set is, so here I would like to introduce two new terms, business system and business system group. Let me first start with business system group. Okay, so okay, before I go ahead, any questions so far? Are you all with me? Any queries before we go ahead? Are you all clear whatever we have discussed so far?
Yeah, it's clear for me.
Yeah, Rohan.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Hmm. So, so what is this business system and business system group? So basically, this is used. Okay, the see again, if you have one ERP, okay, basically EWM is designed to work with multiple ERPs. You might have heard me saying that, that EWM basically it was designed is designed for complex processes. See, EWM is not only restricted to one company in that premise they have that warehouse. It can be also used for distribution warehouses like I like a DHL. It has a warehouse where it is storing parts for all types of customers. So nowadays you have a lot of distribution warehouses. So for example, there is a warehouse which will store products for all types of retailers. Yeah, it will store product for uh, Target, it will store products for Walmart, it will store products for Macy's. So these distribution warehouses also you can connect to EWM. So for example, I am a DHL. Okay, so I have implemented EWM in my warehouse, but my ERP system, I don't have an ERP system. I don't manufacture product, or I don't have my own product. I'm taking products from other customers and storing them and distributing them. But when I take their products, I store them in the warehouse. I want to do picking for them, right? I do the put away for them. So DHL can also implement EWM, right? Without their own ERP. So ERP can be in our pump manufacturing company, our ERPs are own, right? But there will be a lot of warehouse implementation, or rather they are warehouse implementation where EWM connects to more than one ERP. See, very very less projects though, because most of the SAP customers, they are going on EWM at a faster rate. But yeah, uh, companies like DHL and all, they have their own ERPs most of the time. Okay. So I would say ERP1, ERP2, it can be SAP. When I say ERP1, ERP2, it can be SAP or it can be non-SAP as well. Okay. So ERP means all your MMPP SD modules. They can be part of SAP, or they cannot be. They may be, part of some other Oracle or some other ERP as well, right? So EWM can connect to more than one ERP. So let's imagine a scenario of DHL. They can connect to more than one ERP in their warehouse. Now, when we are mapping, okay, so I have taken two ERPs. It can be more as well. Okay. So now when we are mapping master data, so this business system group is used for master data. So when EWM is storing products for multiple ERP, what will be the challenge? ERP1, okay, let's say they have product M-01. Okay, they call it as ERP1. What do I say? Let me take something. Gasket. Okay, ERP2, another company. Okay, he may also have same product. You cannot control, right? There can be chances that um, this material M-02, M-01 cannot be repeated there. We cannot confirm this. We cannot 100% be sure that we cannot be 100% sure that they both will be following different number ranges. See, as a DHL, it cannot go. So they have one contract with ERP2 for 2 years. Now that contract has ended. Now they have started contract with another ERP3. So they cannot go and tell their supplier customers to have their own separate number range for material. They are using ERP from ages. They will not change number range for their vendor. But as a DHL, what challenge they may have if you are implementing EWM for DHL, that these numbers can be same, but in EWM there is one material master, right? M-01, there will be just one material master. So what it will be, either gasket or bearing. In material in the EWM database, we'll have just one. So what we do is, okay, so basically, whenever a material comes, okay, let's say there is a different material. Let's take a simple example. Material is There is a material M-15. There is a material M-20. Okay, so these are different materials. Okay, and the number range is not overlapping. So whenever such materials come, let's talk about the conflicting part later. Let's say this material, when it comes to EWM, EWM should know whose product is this, right? From which ERP it came from. Correct. Now, how will we know? How will EWM know? How Just now we have said, that there is a logical system. So EWM has a logical system. Okay, so using logical system, so here ideally should say logical system of ERP1 should have somewhere this information, right? In the material master to tell from which system this material came from, or whenever there is an integration, some material updates are done in EWM, it has to go and update ERP. It should know which system to update. So we should know the system details in the material master. So now logical system is a we can't use logical system because logical system is basis master data. It is used for integration. What happens? You have maintained logical system as ls dv2 ls dv2 clnt 100. You have maintained this logical system, but what happens tomorrow? Basis team, they change the naming convention for some reason, their technical reason, they make it a clnt something like that. They change the description. So now if the basis team have changed their logical system, all your material master will become corrupt, because in EWM material master level you have stored the logical system. So we cannot stop the technical integration. Okay, so what we do, rather than storing logical system, we store something called as business system group. So we'll store BSG1 here, we'll store BSG2. Okay, so now logical system. So in the metal master we say, instead of, so there is one-to-one mapping. BSG1 is mapped to logical system of ERP1 and BSG2 is mapped to ERP system of logical system of ERP2. So in the material master, you will see it came from BSG1, it came from BSG2, but BSG1 it is assigned to you know logical system of ERP1, BSG2 is assigned to logical system of ERP2. Tomorrow, if the logical system is changed, we'll change the mapping. BSG2 will assign to the logical system of ERP2. So logical system can change, but the business system group will never change. So once you start using a warehouse, your material masters, you should never change business system group. Okay, so basically here you can see assign logical system. So here we say that this is the logical system. If the data comes from this logical system, this is the business system group. If the data comes from this logical system, this is the business system group. The data comes from this logical system, this is the business system group. And these business system groups are, we'll find them in the product master table, product master data. Yeah. So EWM, you can see the business system group is maintained here. Okay, so business system group, it is grayed out. It will never change. Logical systems may change, basis, let them change. We'll change the assignment of business system group to that logical system. But by that way, we are making sure our products will never get corrupt, even though the logical systems are changed. So here, this data came from DV1 client 400, which is our own ERP. The ERP, same S4HANA ERP, it came from S4HANA ERP. But tomorrow, if the data would have come from another ERP, this BSG2 would have been stored. Okay, so business system group is basically helps you to identify material came from which ERP system. Okay, we will see an application only when we are connecting to more than one ERPs. Otherwise, it is always one, and you will never even, when a project goes live, you'll not even bother to see that. Business system group is, we need to store information about from which system the data came from, but we cannot store logical system, because logical system is not a functional object, it's a technical object, integration object, and it can be changed by the technical team at any point of time. We want a firm object which will never change. So instead of integrating directly logical system to the material masters, we link the SAP has created a different object called business system group. The business system group will be help us to recognize which ERP system this material belongs to. Okay, clear so far? We'll now talk about the conflict thing. In case of M-1, how the conflict will be handled. But are we clear so far?
Yes, sir. So, Rohan, one question here. So, as you said, the logical systems might get changed. So, if this is changes it, so we will assign the same business group to the new logical system, right?
Perfect, exactly, yes. So we'll just come here, change this config, and we'll just copy this and change the logical system, maintain a new entry here. So new logical system, maybe let's say they have changed it to 500. Okay, that's fine. You send us data, it will store this. It is basically linked to our business system group. So master data doesn't get corrupted.
Oh, understood.
Okay. Now the next thing is conflict. What happens is, if both the ERPs are sending us the same material, M-01. See, what we do is, we do a generally, if this conflict happens, what we do is, we will have a prefix. Okay, so what I will say, always, if the material is coming from ERP1, each ERP system I'll give a unique number in my system. So whenever the material is coming from ERP01, it should not create as M-01. It should create as a prefix of that ERP system. So it should create as 1 M-01, which is a different product in EWM now. And the product comes from ERP2 pairing. So basically what we do is, we do a enhancement at business system group level to add prefix to the product based on, oh, it's based on the BSG, based on the ERP. Yeah? So basically in EWM we have a body. Okay, what it does, it looks when a material comes from ERP to EWM, it looks which is the logical system, it finds out what is the business system group, and then in that body you will say, okay, in this case, please add a prefix 1. We maintain a Z table. You say if it is coming from 1, this is the prefix. It is coming from this logical system. This is a prefix. So you can have a prefix or a suffix. I'm just giving an example. I'm having prefix of the ERP 1 2 something, but you can business can decide whatever. So that way we will avoid conflict. So that way DHL can avoid conflict. So one code is not used by any other ERP. This is always used by one. So uniquely we are going to make sure that all gasket, all materials or gasket or any metal coming from ERP, they have one materials coming from. So we have basically in EWM we'll have now two master datas. Whenever you're sending any information back to ERP1, system will check, okay, we added a prefix, remove the prefix and now send the data to ERP1. Okay. So this much detailing has been, taken care of when EWM was designed, because as I said, the whole idea for SAP was to, uh, you know, not only make a product for their ERP, modules just like a WM, but, to give an independent, comprehensive warehouse management product. Okay. So you have this body available using which you can have prefix or suffix. Okay. Are you clear now how this conflicts will be taken care of?
Yes, Ron.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you understood business system group, business system is same. I will just replace product with delivery. So now here in this system, they can have a, let's say we have a delivery. Both are SAP. In SAP inbound deliveries, they follow number range. Now it is, this was master data. This is application data. Application data is delivery. Okay. We get deliveries from ERP system. So let's say there is a inbound delivery 18000001. We have the same delivery from ERP2 as well. So how to manage this? So basically but we can only store one ERP delivery. Let's say there is another delivery where there is no conflict, or there is another delivery where, so here what we would like EWM to store some information from which system it came from. Okay, conflict we'll talk later. Okay, so now we need to know from which system it came from. So now business system group is for a material master, for application it is business system. So our deliveries will have the details of the ERP system it came from. In the delivery, like in the metal master, we saw business system group is stored. In the delivery, business system is stored, and this business system is mapped to the logical system. So I'm just replacing group, just replacing my metal master with delivery, and replacing business system group with business system. So now here you can see same way business system is assigned to the logical systems. See, this is the business system. Okay, and then there will be a config. Let me see, where is a config? Yeah, so this is the logical system, this is the business system. So this business system will be stored at the delivery level. Tomorrow they change the logical system, we will change this mapping so that the same business system gets assigned to a delivery. So delivery business system is assigned one time, you cannot change that. Okay, otherwise you know, if the business system is deleted or changed, it will corrupt it. Okay, so let us see where in the delivery, like in product, business system group is stored here, storing information about which ERP system that data was sent from. In case of come on, in case of delivery, where that business system information is stored. Again, we don't store logical system, yeah, in information in any of our data. Okay, so here you can see this data came from this is the inbound delivery, but it is not only inbound delivery, business system. This is the business system of the logical system from where this delivery came. Okay, so we always store information from where it came, because we have to we have to send the data back to that system. So now when I do the GR, it looks at, oh, what is the business system? Okay, then what is the RS, what is the logical system, and then what is the RS destination, and then it will send a message to that system. Okay, and same way here, if there is a conflict, I will have a prefix or suffix for the deliveries with doing a enhancement at business system level to add a prefix to the delivery based on ERP. So I'm going to this way I'll have a two separate delivery in the EWM or the DHL system by doing an enhancement. So same function business system, but it's used for deliveries.
So just to understand, Rohan, this means business system group we use for the master data, business system is used for the transaction data. Is it right statement?
Yeah, that's correct. Transaction or application data, we may call it.
So it's also same applies to the master data, right? Customer and vendor master for the business system group.
See, we don't store customer master vendor.
Yeah.
We store
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
partners.
Sorry.
Business partners. Yeah, same thing. Business system group is applicable for business partners also, and you can do enhancement also.
Yeah. Oh, in case we are using the decentralized EWM
Yeah,
example.
it will store. Business partner will store that information from which
Okay.
system it came.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
And you can also do enhancements to have prefix for the business partner as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stop here for today. There are now some more. This was basis. So tomorrow we will start with the functional. I think most of the settings on the functional side we have already done, but there is one important setting which we haven't done. We need to introduce um, what is supply chain unit, what is owner, party and to dispose, all those things we need to introduce. We'll do that tomorrow. Okay, so basically what we are going to do tomorrow, we are going to okay, where is that performance assistant thing? We are going to So we are going to review this settings in this wizard for the functional bit. Yeah, this is for the functional. So I've done almost all of them. There are there are a couple of more. These two we haven't done it. We'll discuss that tomorrow in more detail. Okay, two settings from here as we haven't done it yet. We'll discuss them. And tomorrow, end of tomorrow, our warehouse integration will be done, and we will be able to send deliveries from ERP to EWM, EWM to ERP, and you know, and then we can also start setting up scenarios for our warehouse. Okay. So any questions, guys? Anything anybody would like to discuss before we end for today?
Rohan, what is the enhancement? Can you have the details?
The Okay. So I'll share the body name with you. Yeah, body name for BSG and BSG group. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that has to be implemented, where you can write your code to have a prefix or suffix. Okay, I'll do that.
Rohan, I just have one more question. Are we able to connect, obviously, the S4HANA EWM, which is already linked to an ERP, to an external ERP?
See, it depends on the version. I think 1909 we cannot connect an embedded EWM to another decentralized, but I think 2021 we can connect embedded EWM to another ERP. But 1909, no, it was not possible that time. But yeah, the latest version allows that, 2020 or 2021. So please check the version, release notes, where it allows or where it doesn't allow. But till 1909, definitely it was not allowing.
Thank you, Rohan.
Any other questions before we end for today? Okay.
No,
Okay, then if no further questions, then we'll end our session. Tomorrow we'll complete our integration settings. Yeah. Okay, then have a nice day. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you, Rohan.
thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.